Hi, I'm Riz. Let's open some cards together. Today we have again 5 packs like usual. This time the 5 are the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Collector Booster, a Tarkir Dragonstorm Play Booster, in the middle a Tarkir Dragonstorm Collector Booster, a Mystery Booster 2, and lastly we'll go ahead and do the Modern Horizons 3. I'm not sure why I picked this order, it just kind of came to mind. As usual, I want to start with one question for you all, one question for you maybe to answer in the comments if you want to do so, your call of course. And the question today is, what's the first Magic card that you really liked? Thinking back to all the ones you know, whether you're a newer player or an older player, is there one in particular you say, that one was really cool? Whatever it is, I'd love to know. So far, I don't really have a favorite one. Chatterfang the Squirrel General over there continues to be my favorite, I suppose, just because I've started thinking a little bit about how to build a deck around him. A few of you gave suggestions of cards I should look into, and I appreciate that very, very much. I'm continuing to do some research. There actually are some decks online that say, you want to use Chatterfang, here are the best possible cards for it. That feels a little unfair, especially because I want to start playing as a newer player and then gradually work my way into maybe some higher tier decks. Who knows, that's for the future. For today though, let's just get into the cards, have some fun, and see how it goes. As always, if you like what happens on this channel, please consider throwing a like down below, maybe even a subscription if you want to, and maybe leave a comment also. Those do help, of course, with the algorithm, but also it's nice just knowing people are out there, and I love engaging in conversation with you all. For now though, let's get to it. 5 collector boosters, that's not true. 5 packs, of which 3 are collector boosters today, and 2 are play boosters. I remember on last video I had a hard time getting this pack open. Is it going to happen again? Alright, after a little bit more fighting, I did get it open. I think in the future for this kind, I might actually use a pair of scissors. I'll be very careful not to cut the cards open, but I just have trouble getting into the Outlaw Thunder Junction packs, probably because, I don't know, they're made for cowboys. And am I that? No. Alright, we start on the back side as usual, with the Magic the Gathering back there. Also, I recently learned that there are certain hidden little secrets in here that help people discover if cards are fake or real. I've actually been considering making a few little videos on, like, here's some history of Magic stuff as discovered by a brand new player. Probably kind of old stuff known by a lot of people, but for newer players like me, it could be fascinating to find out. Card number 1, a giant beaver. A beaver mount. Mounts. I think I mentioned a mount previously on another video about riding a dragon perhaps, but mounts are allowed. Whenever a giant beaver attacks while saddled, like, does one literally put a card on top of the giant beaver and say, okay, this knight now is riding this beaver? Is quite giant indeed. Whenever a giant beaver attacks while saddled, put a 1/1 counter on target creature that salvages this turn. So it gets a stronger ability on the rider then. And this beaver slash steed also has a 4/4 themselves, so quite a big slam together. Saddle 3 says what? Tap any number of other creatures you control with a total power of 3 or more. This mount becomes saddled until end of turn. Saddle only the sorcery. Alright, that's a little more complex than I understand at this point, but is it saying that up to 3 creatures can ride on the back of the giant beaver? Thinking about that in imaginative ways, what that looks like sounds absolutely ridiculous. More to learn though. Beyond that, we have for ourselves a foil Djinn of Fool's Fall. This one's flying. It's a lovely, I was gonna say a genie. Maybe the genie's in the bottle there. And it plots 3. What is a plot? You play 3 plus a blue and exile the card from your hand. Casts a sorcery on a later turn while paying its mana cost. I think I saw this previously, so you pay it and hide it away, and then use this point in the future. Got it. No one knew if the waterfall is a natural wonder the Djinn guarded, or if it conjured it to hide something even greater. I may have mentioned before, behind every good waterfall there must be treasure. Throw from the saddle. Oh no, the other direction from the giant beaver. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 to the end of turn. Put a +1/+1 on it instead if it's a mount. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Alright, you can imagine throwing, I guess the rider into the enemy perhaps. A little kindness would have carried you a lot farther than those spurs, as Miriam the Herd Whisperer. Gotta be nice to our animals. Now, when I was a kid, I wanted a horse so badly. I lived in a very suburban area, seems unreasonable. Skullduggery. Oh man, some sneaky attacking. Looks like a little blade coming from nowhere. Until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1. And target creature and opponent controls get 1/1 against it. So it seems like a lot of the cards, especially the commons, give that +1/+1, that small bonus to both of one's stats. Why, you yelly-bellied, loot-stealing, good-for-nothing, bottom-feeding, dog-faced, lily-livered! Oh man, doesn't matter what you call the guy, I believe you are dead, dead, dead either way. We then have Take for a Ride. It seems all horses today. Take for a Ride has flash as long as you've committed a crime this turn. Targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyards is a crime. Oh my goodness. So this is a way of bringing law and order into the game? Like, is there a sheriff in town? So if you commit a crime, flash. I'll have to look that one up so far. I know that there's something similar to that where you don't have to tap on the way in, but it's not a creature. This is not a creature, it's sorcery. Gain control of target creature until the end of the turn. Untap that creature, gains haste. Haste is the one where you can attack immediately. So someone breaks a rule, you yourself break the law, you then can steal a creature also. You're a horse thief! A horse thief is what's happening here. We then have a Deep Muck Desperado. Whenever you commit a crime, each opponent mills 3 cards. I think last time we opened one of these packs, we didn't see any of these commit a crime cards. I wonder how that fits together with other kinds of decks. If one person's playing some like standard goblin deck, and the other person over here is playing I'm a cowboy breaking the law, it must fit together very strangely. I wonder if this set works better when both people are playing cards from it. Heard you have been horning on my turf. How about I introduce you to some surf? If you're allowed to play all these cards together, it's some very, very strange matchups. Like, on the one hand, they're just cards. People are just throwing them out there, resolving the mechanics. But thinking about battles between, I don't know, like Final Fantasy mages and like the Optimus Prime card, bizarre. Miriam the Herd Whisperer, we saw a quotation from her earlier. This time she says, anything willing to bear your weight and save you a feet a trip across the hot sands deserves respect. Show some. And so Miriam there, taking good care of her horse, maybe casting a little bit of magic, a little serenity prayer perhaps. It cannot be controlled. And then got our forest, a little land card there, a little shiny. I'm worried that those green things in the middle might explode, though it appears to be all cactuses, but very large ones. Giant beaver, giant cacti. Then Fling, none of these newspaper versions. As an additional cost to this cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to any target. So you sacrifice something real big and he goes smashing on through in a hurry. I've been heard that playing only very big creatures is a big mistake that newer players tend to make. The desire to see huge numbers smashing can very easily be countered. Then, Journey to Nowhere. When Journey to Nowhere enters the battlefield, exile the target creature. Are you stuck in a bottle? What is this? I was thinking a message in a bottle initially. Where are you going? Some magic, some old-timey justice. Barkeep reports theft of bottle. Customer report theft of barkeep. Which way is it going? We then have Smuggler Surprise. Alright, Spree. You can do one or the other. Either you give up 4 cards and put 2 creatures or 2 land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. So you put 4 cards into the quasi-graveyard and take up the 2 of them that are any good. You may put up 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So instead of having to mill them out of your deck, you can still just see what they are. And lastly, creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain hexproof and indestructible. So able to survive from casting against it. You can choose all of these. Man, I guess you have to spend quite a bit of mana to make it work, but a card like that could be incredibly powerful. But again, maybe the mana cost is too high. Then Akul the Unrepentant. I think we've seen this guy before. Maybe. It seems like a weird inclusion in a cowboy deck. Pretty sure we saw it before though, so let's go and set it aside for now. We then have the Heartless Conscription. Exile all creatures. For each card exiled this way, you may play that card, for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type is spent to cast that spell. Exile this card also. Okay. Exile all creatures. For anyone's exiled that way, you may play that one exiled, so you can play your opponent's creatures then? Wow! Exile this one also. History remembers the conquerors, not the bones they stand on. Maybe this is the Civil War conscription, given that it's all kinds of cowboys and such. We then have another newspaper, Primal Command. He's that jaguar or leopard coming in. Choose two. I like the choice cards. I like the flexibility they might give. I'm not sure this is the best thing. I mean, you gain a bunch of life, that's cool. Is there ever a reason to give your opponent life? Like, target player gains 7 life. Maybe you're playing in some format other than a one-on-one, it makes sense. Or maybe there's some spell that one can cast that does the most possible damage on the person with the highest life, perhaps. I don't know. You can heal your opponent, you can search your library, and lots of other things. We then have a nice shiny Railway Brawler. Are you a rhinoceros? You are indeed a rhinoceros. A rhino warrior. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is its power. So this doubles? This doubles its power, I believe, is what it's saying there. I'm not sure it's exactly true. But I guess the beating here is to inspire the fellows. Lastly, we have a treasure plus zombie rogue. Are these set pairings, I wonder? Where you get the same thing on each side each time? Or could you have a zombie rogue and then a warrior on the backside? Don't know that yet. Should probably look into it at some point. All right, group number 1 set aside. Thank you, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. A fun pack to open. I think it has a really interesting character to it. Obviously, Dragonstorm is, dragons and such, but I like the idea of having, cowboys. And I mentioned Final Fantasy a bit ago. I would love to open Final Fantasy collector cards on stream, on video rather, but they're so unbelievably expensive. Probably not going to happen unless, I don't know, some unknown great uncle dies and leaves me enough money for that. I'm probably seeing the play boosters here, almost certainly, though. All right, next up, Molten Exhale. I believe we've seen this one before, but dragons get very angry and cough their fire everywhere. Probably need some Tums. After that, we have Worthy Cost. Again, we've seen this one before as well, in which that dragon is definitely going to take the Vanguard's glaive, but also probably the Vanguard too. The Sagu Plumber, we know we've seen that one before, Pablo rather, standing on that tree, looking kind of horrifying. I do wonder how the artists are chosen for these. I wonder how the artists, what's the order? Is there first the mechanic? And they say, okay, well, what kind of mechanic would it be, or creature would it be that has all this going? And they say, okay, we want some giant, awful creature. You go paint it. Or instead, they start with the artwork and say, this beast surely is called a Sagu. There must be some order to things. I should definitely email the company and ask. The Unending Whisper. All right, that person's in your ear, whispering about deers, and this is one of those spooky campfire stories back in Boy Scouts and such. Draw a card and then harmonize. You can cast it again from the graveyard if you want to. Would you want to? I'm not sure. In the endless song, Temer's whispers, hear spirits murmur the past, present, and future. All right, so some omens. I don't want to hear the whispers of the past, reminding me of all the embarrassing moments in school. An Erishan Sun Shield, like some kind of high elf there, looking well defended and very snobby too. The best way to protect the citizens is defend Arishan, not hunt the Dragonstorm across Tarkir. Alright, so apparently the Arishan, they're interested in not worrying about dragons, but staying nice and close. The offense versus the defense. A Stormstreak Feral. Look how cute that thing is. I don't know what the red lightning bolt is, but there's some in its mouth also. And then behind, the gleaming of a sunrise, or perhaps some kind of very large bomb. Watcher of the Wayside. Oh, it's a golem, or a golem. I never know how to say that. It's the Iron Giant. Against Dragon Lords, Khans, and Ugin himself, the golem survived. Original purpose forgotten, it awaits orders that will never come from a world that has moved on without it. This may be the saddest card I've ever seen. I'm glad that one could put it in their deck for the sake of giving it purpose once more, but man, because it's alive, right? Or at least it's sentient. I feel like I should put this card into any deck I make, just because I feel bad for him. We then have the Krumar Initiates, this fellow who is welcoming you to the House of Spirits. A Furious Forbearer. After everything I did to make you work that hard... Oh, it's not a forbearer, never mind. I was going to talk about how my great-grandfather sacrificed this and that, and how do I spend my life? Looking at pieces of cardboard. A fierce forbear, meaning a block instead. My hatred dampens the land with my kin's blood. My love will flood it with yours. Hatred, I kill my family. Love... kill someone else. Confusing. I wonder if Hazena is the one who said earlier that they would, slay the dragon. Oh, it's actually this card right here. Right here, worthy cost. It's actually not, but this person says, my love, know that I'll always ensure your survival. That's from Duvir, as opposed to Hazena. But love seems to be a strong motivation in this set, or at least in those two cards. Not sure. The Siltime Monument, as always, a horror show. Don't want that. The Attuned Hunter with a bear at its side. Is that right? What are you? Is that clothing? Oh, there it is. It's actually a bear facing towards towards us, I suppose. The Human Ranger has a bear also. Sokran is no mere bear. She's friend, family, and confidant, and more intelligent than most of my blood relatives. I love that. Also, the idea of having a bear in my home is so appealing to surprise people who visit, and for no other reason at all. Anafeza, the unyielding lineage, spirit soldier coming to defend us all. Warden of the Grove. I've seen online that apparently this card synergizes very well with something out of the new Final Fantasy set. And so people who speculate on the game could be really valuable someday. But the many heads of the Hydra, and is it fighting as a dragon? Or the dragon at its feet? I'm not quite sure what it's doing. I'll need a microscope perhaps to figure that one out. Rugged Highlands, a little piece of land. And lastly, an elephant and treasure together. So it does seem that treasure can be on lots of different kinds of cards, not only on that zombie we saw last time. I'm actually going to go ahead and skip over the Tarkir one right now, because we did that just a moment ago. We'll go ahead and skip on to the Collector Booster of Horizon 3, then the Mystery Pack, and then the Tarkir. Look at that, changing things on the fly. Also, I may have blocked these in a way you can't see them. I swear I was pointing at the things I was talking about. I'm still not especially attuned to my hands being on this table. There we go. This pack we have for ourselves. Modern Horizons. I haven't quite caught the vibe of Modern Horizons. Like the Cowboy one and Dragonstorm have clear identities. These seem kind of all over the place. Maybe they are meant as cards just to establish the game, as opposed to cards that are meant to establish a universe. Aether Spike. The shield doesn't block the fire physically, it tells the fire to stop. I definitely need a shield like that. Halt traffic, let us through. And, yeah, amazing. Next up, Infernal Captor. Oh no, did someone sign their soul away? Exploit. When the creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. Does that mean you can sacrifice the enemy's creatures? Pretty tricky. Possession is 9/10 of the law. His fist is the other 10th. So he's possessing the fellow's head for there. Also, I like the joke on possession, right? Possession like a demon. Inspired Inventor, a human artificer. When they come on in, you get energy. There's some other card we saw previously that you need energy tokens to sustain. I think it was 2 energy tokens or the beast loses leaves the field all at once. Also, counters go up. Also, only choose one. Or get a little servo artifact. What's the value of 1/1s? Like, what's the value of tiny little things? Is it they can do, what's it called? Like chump blocks, where you can block a much larger character with a much smaller one, because most creatures going to attack once a turn? Might be right. Sheltering Landscape. All right, some kind of mesa looks like. You play it, you can sacrifice it to find some other kind of card, and you can draw a card if you cycle it on through. Sheltering Landscape. Is this called a fetch land? I've heard the phrase fetch land a few times now. Is it allowed you to fetch some other card out of your deck? Not sure. Sheltering Landscape. Consigned to Memory. Oh no. You cry it out and never think again. What is this person dismayed about? Wait, consigned to memory. That means to remember, not to give away. So locking him on in there through the tears. He wept not for what was, but what could never be. It's a leaving possibility and memory only. Muster the Departed, like Aragon calling forth the Bound Spirits. Morbid. At the beginning of your end step, I don't really know the steps yet, other than upkeep is one of them. Maybe for next video I should learn how the phases work. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, populate. For a token, it's a copy of a creature token you control. So you steal the spirit of the defeated creature and give it into someone else's body for yourself. The Wirewood Symbiote. Return an elf you control to its owner's hand. Also untap the target creature, activate once per turn, it drinks fatigue, and a 1/1 at that. There's the Swamp, looking very Cthulhuian as usual. And then Nesting Grounds. Hey, this card looks kind of old. I wonder if this series had some unusual card faces. But Nesting Grounds, what's nesting there? I see only the nests. I do not see any birds or dragons or otherwise. What's the phrase down here? Dappled coats become armored hides. Soft jaws become razor tusks. Nestling play becomes fight for survival. The way in which childhood play grows into violence instead. Next up, hey, another one of the kind of older view there. A legendary Skoa the Ember Mage. When they enter, deal 4 damage to any targets. Also with Grandeur, discard another card named Skoa Ember Mage. Discard another card. So you need to have 2 of these? Or is there a way to rename a card? Hello to you, Enchanting Mage. I will call you Bob. I need kindling, you'll do nicely. So burns something and then burns itself. Amazing. Urmskir the Iron Eater. Inside that iron mask, you must have more iron there. Affinity for artifacts. Once again, cheaper for artifacts. When you enter the battlefield, you draw X card and you use X life. Oh my goodness. So you sacrifice life to get more cards. And then Corum the Undertaker. What's that mask? Looking like a character out of Mortal Kombat. Wow, 0/5, but he gains X in the greatest power among creature cards in all graveyards. So you find something real beefy and give it to the Undertaker. Then the Nether Goyf. What's the Goyf? Appears to be a Goyf there. Very displeased. Power equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. Card types, so like instant and creature and sorcery and so on. I wonder if there's some very unusual card types out there in the world. In old decks, you can go buy them and then sneak them in. Cool. Another old-looking one, the Ocelot Pride, with First Strike and Lifelink. Lifelink's a new term for me. I know it in other games as a way of connecting different characters' life pools. I take 5 damage and you take 2.5 of it. At the beginning of the end step, if you gained life this turn, create another cat. More cats, more cats. And then what's this? Ugin's Labyrinth. I believe that Ugin is a character in the Dragon deck also. Tarkir Dragonstorm. Like, this actually might be Ugin on the front here. So Ugin must be a character with a longer history than just the one series. Imprint. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless card with mana value 7 or greater. May. So a card with... It must be a very specific card this is going for. I have no idea. You then can add more mana. If a card is exiled with it, add 2 instead. These energy counters. And then return the exiled card to its owner's hand. I don't know what kind of card it would be going. It's so specific, it seems. I don't know. That's crazy. But looks really nice. Looks kind of like a sci-fi Egyptian setup, maybe. And lastly, our token, the Phyrexian Germ. And Germ? Germ indeed. It's in its germ state. And the copy. Ooh, it's coming for you. Oh, really nice. Really nice cards there. I wanted to look more into the one we just ended with, Ugin's Laboratory. I'm sure one of you know what it's meant to do immediately, but it just seems confusing. That mana value 7 is exact, right? It's not, 7 or greater. Have I seen any cards with 7 or greater mana cost? We may have seen one last time, but honestly, I don't recall. All right, now our mystery booster. What are we going to get? What's in it? Let's find out. Open her up, and we find for ourselves... Rebuff the Wicked. Off they go. I cannot teach you the brand of magic. I can teach you how to defend against it. The priest only has their power word shield. Occasionally I think I may make these same jokes every week. I can't quite remember what I've said previously. The Tormented Angel, I think we actually saw these inside of our bulk box we did last week, or over the weekend. Command of Unsummoning. Huh. Play Command of Unsummoning only after attack before you declare Interceptors. That's the blockers use, I think. And return any 1 or 2 attacking creatures to owner's hand. So after your attack, you bring this thing out, yell Uno Reverso. Wow. A Cephalid Broker. I know we've seen you previously. Savage Gorger. All these vampires. I have no patience for sipping blood from crystal goblets. I want to bite and to tear. And now my channel's demonetized. Urbog Repossession. Urbog Repossession. So you pull someone in your graveyard and bring it out again. The Faithful Salvaging. On some silver there. Please don't melt it down. All that's left are broken beliefs. Oh my goodness. It's someone going through a graveyard or perhaps some other source of relics. Occasionally in RPGs we do this, right? We go into someone's, like, the Temple of Water. And the people who worship water probably care about the coins that are there and the rubies. But no, you just take them. Rites of Initiation. Love his old style graphics there. I mean, that's kind of horrifying. Let's not look too closely. Discard any random number of cards at random from your hand. Wait, discard any number of cards at random from your hand. So I suspect that means I want to discard 3 and you give the 3 to your opponent and they pick one of the 3? Maybe, or all 3 of them. At random is interesting to me. I also like you throw them in the air and yell Uno Reverso and grab the ones you can. Huh. Dreampod Druid. Yeah, in this game it seems that druids are very much animal-based as opposed to nature in general. I'm used to the World of Warcraft kind in which they just like worshipping the trees as opposed to attaching animal body parts. Don't mistake my creations for mere vegetation. They're loyal children. They're fierce. A hedge troll. Will you pay the troll toll? Little skulls there. 2 in a row with body parts. Actually, 3 in a row with body parts, right? We have the run of right incantation, a skull. Dreampod Druid, a skull. And then little skulls here. The skull deck begins. Bonder's Ornament. Found families deserve a family crest too. So they've made their own crest. Not from a real legitimate biological family, no one of great repute, but they've made their own family anyway. Each player who controls one draws a card. Wow. So again, in a multiplayer game beyond 2 people, that could be really interesting. You make sure everyone has a card like this, and then you put them out all together and yell Captain Planet Thoughts. Garth One Eye. You missing one eye? Looks like he might well be. A humble appearance belies a master skill. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from all of those. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy. So this requires the player to know what these names mean. I know in the bulk video over the weekend, we saw Shivan Dragon. It's about a 5/5 red, I believe. The Black Lotus I know of is the ridiculous card that costs a ton of money, but interesting card that requires players to know more things. But there's also ones with tapped. So you can do this over and over and over again. Wow. So you got to get this guy off the field in a hurry or else you have way too many friends. Lavinia Azorius Renegade. I believe we've seen this one previously. Legendary creature, a rogue of some sort. Lastly, for our future sight, the Fluster Storm. You counter target instant or sorcery unless its controller pays 1 mana. Does this require then that a player has left behind 1 untapped mana? So I believe it's the case that you don't you don't untap your land cards until the beginning of your own turn. Oh, I can imagine feeling pure regret on this card. Also, Storm. And lastly, the silly card, the Omnipresent Imposter. A shapeshifter that has all card names. Oh, I know you can't use this. It would be so useful with the earlier card that says, You can only bring forward a card of this name. That's really interesting. Very cool to have cards that are, again, silly. Speaking of silly cards, I mentioned before that once we hit 100 subscribers, I have something fun planned. I think we're probably going to open up at least some packs of the Unfinity set, what it's called, which is a ridiculous set of cards that are just silly, kind of fun to play together, but not a terribly serious set. There we go. I think this set might actually have a little pull tab area I missed. The pre-cut is always very helpful. Eventually I'll get good at this thing, but not quite there yet. I gotta look up elite card opening strategies somewhere. Alright, our last pack for today. Here we go. Number 1, we have the Ringing Strike Mastery. One Punch Man the Dragon. Number 2, we have the Bearer of Glory. We've seen him previously with his army of followers. Number 3, we got ourselves a Delta Blood Flies. Those are quite large compared to the person on the left. This is more horrifying to me than the dragons. I do not want them coming for my blood. With the rising waters, blood flies were found far from their usual swamps. We then have Sultai Devotee. Sultai. This is the same group as the ones with the temple we found a while back. Many Sultai villages are protected by Naga, who weave magics to bless or curse as needed. The negative side of the Little Mermaid. Then, Fleeting Effigy, Man on Fire. The brush fire of Kori Mountains take on life all their own. So allegedly this is a fire that found a human body to be, so it's a human body that found fire to be. Then, a starry-eyed Skyrider. Someone enjoys flying on the dragon. A little kid possibly. It looks definitely a little bit younger. And so they're flying alongside the dragon. Are they holding on something? Or, yeah, I think they're holding on to a little rope there to keep flying. I like to imagine that they were skydiving. Don't worry, the dragon will save them by the end. Too late! The elders realized the young prodigy shared a love of adventure and mischief. The dragon's willing to play along. Then, the Attuned Hunter. We saw some before. What a cool bear it is. It's no bear. Then a Riling Dawnbreaker. That red giant mouth rhino horn. I need to do a tier list of all the dragons. Which is my favorite, which is the best. The Teeming Dragonstorm once more. 2/2 white soldier joints. The Dragonstorm have no choice but to ride together, they say. Then our Swamp with a dragon flying overhead. And a few last cards. The Voice of Victory. A human bard card singing out there. You probably know that during World War II, there's I think it's an Irish or Scottish or some form of Great British character who is, or Britannic Island character in World War II, who apparently brought his bagpipes along, so probably Scottish, and marched up and down the beach as other people were landing, trying to inspire them with bagpipe music. And apparently the Nazis didn't shoot him because they thought he was an insane person to be out there. I think it's the real story. I do believe it's a real story regardless. Then, the Reunion of the House. I haven't seen this before. Return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow! You can bring one really strong in, or a variety of them in. We stand or fall as family. All of us. The house there being all of your cards in the graveyard. Then a Temur Battlecrier, playing that horseback horn, I suppose. Previously with Temur, I think we've seen large elephants. Why are you riding a horse then? During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. 4 or greater. I was thinking how great it would be to use this with the prior card and summon 10 1/1s. And then use this. But it's cards that are more expensive or more powerful than that. Then, a Sinkhole Surveyor. We saw a different version of this card previously. This card flies out of the sinkhole and saves folks. That's a borderless version, I believe. And lastly, the Kori Mountain Monastery. A land that enters tapped unless you control a plains or an island. Then you can exile top of your library. Play that card also. Come to learn, stay to teach. Yeah, that's how you get professorships for sure. You just stick around long enough and they'll make you the professor. friends, there you have it. 5 packs opened in... I should probably make a feature like 5 packs in 5 minutes and rip through as fast as I can, but no, 5 packs in about 30 minutes or so. As always, thank you for hanging out. I hope you had some fun. Hope you enjoyed watching me be surprised, be engaged, be interested, and I hope you were also. If you like it, as always, consider pushing the buttons down below or saying hi in the comments. I do appreciate every single one of you who engaged with the video. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.